Hi, I'm Beck and Food's My Life. In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make some Italian biscuits. Coming right up. So today I'm making crostoli. Crostoli is an Italian biscuit that's usually eaten at Christmas time or Easter time. Essentially, it's just a pasta dough that's flavored with sugar, vanilla, some lemon rind, some alcohol, and then it goes through the pasta machine, as pasta usually does, and it's cut into strips and deep fried and then topped with icing sugar. These little biscuits are really deceptive. You end up eating so many more than you think you will because they're very, very light. So this recipe will make, could make up to 80 to 100 biscuits, but it sounds like a lot, but don't worry, you'll smash 20 in one sitting, no problem. Okay, so today I'm going to show you how to make this the traditional way. So my nonna didn't have electric beaters or, kitchen aids in her kitchen. She'd just have to do it by hand, and that's the way I'm gonna show you today. So fingers crossed, let's hope this works, because I usually use my KitchenAid. But anyway, we're gonna start with 200 grams of plain flour. Now, it's best if you use the 00 grade plain flour. And I couldn't get that at the shops, but that's okay. Plain flour will do. If you can get 00 flour, it will have a better outcome though. It'll be sort of lighter and fluffier. Okay, so my flour is on the board. Now I want to try and make a well in my flour. Okay, now to this well, I'm going to add 1 egg. Room temperature, of course. And I'm going to use a fork and give it a bit of a beating. So lightly beat that egg. Okay, to that egg, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of castor sugar, a pinch of salt. Oops. And at that stage, I'm just going to leave it at that, and I'm going to continue to beat that together. So we're not really incorporating the flour yet. I'm just still trying to incorporate those wet ingredients together. Okay, now I'm going to add the zest of 1 lemon and the zest of 1 orange. In they go. I'm also going to add 1 tablespoon of butter at room temperature. That's unsalted butter. So I'm going to pop that in. And I'm going to try and incorporate that as well. Mash it up, mix it up. And the final wet ingredients at this stage is a tablespoon of vanilla extract and a tablespoon of brandy. Now, what you should be using really, traditionally they use grappa, which is an Italian liquor, very, very potent and strong. It's not easy to find grappa, and if you do, it's usually very expensive, and you'll have to buy a big bottle for like $50-something. So the other alternative is to use brandy, which is what I do use, and it works just as well, although I think if I can get my hands on grappa one day, I would like to give that a go, because I think it does make a difference. But anyway, in the meantime, brandy does the job. Okay, now comes the point where I'm going to have to start using my hands to incorporate the flour and the wet ingredients. I'm going to have on hand 3 to 4 tablespoons of milk. I'm going to keep adding that milk to these ingredients when I feel that I need some liquid. Okay, so this is the messy bit. I've taken all my jewelry off. I'm going to start to incorporate the wet and the dry. And what we're going to end up with is a dough. Okay, so I'll make a little well. Grab my milk, add a little bit. Keep going. Okay, so that's coming together. Now this is where you'll also need some plain flour on hand, just so if you feel that it's still a bit too sticky, you just grab some flour, sprinkle it over, and keep kneading. So now we're at the kneading stage, because that dough's come together. So we want to get a nice smooth dough. Okay, I'm really happy with this dough. It's come together really nicely. So what you need to do now is shape it into a disc, and we're going to wrap it in some plastic wrap and let it rest on your bench top for at least an hour. Okay, so I have cut off a part of my dough because you can't work with all of your dough at this stage. Maybe chop that dough into quarters. And by the way, if you want to reserve any dough to make these biscuits for another time, the dough freezer's fine. I've done that many times and it works. So you're going to take part of your dough and you're going to make sure that your pasta machine is set on the largest width. And we're going to run the pasta through the machine. Now at this stage, you might see that inside your dough might still be a bit sticky. So this is an indication that you need to add some more flour and work it maybe a little bit longer, because we don't want it to be sticky, we want it to be nice and smooth. Okay, so once you've gone through the widest setting a few times, it's time to get thinner. So I'm going to go about midway now, and I'm going to go through with the dough again. So getting a little bit smaller each time, a little bit thinner. Going to do that again. And now I'll put it on, maybe not the thinnest, but one from the thinnest setting. So the idea about this is to get the pasta dough as thin as you can, because the thinner you get, the lighter and crispier it's going to be when you fry it. All right, there you go. So now I'm going to take that really thin strip, cut it in half, and pop it on my board. Okay, so now what we have to do is cut these pieces of pasta dough with, I use a little ravioli cutter. You can just use a knife, but the ravioli cutter gives it a nice little frilly edge. And we're going to cut this into strips. So once you've done that, once they're all cut, grab your ravioli cutter or your knife and then just go over them again, giving each one a little bit of a cut in the middle. Now, the reason why we do this is so that when it fries, it helps it stay flat and not curl up. Now, I just keep my crostoli nice and flat like that. Some people, I know traditionally, some Italian ladies pinch them like this to make them look like little bows, and it's just an aesthetic thing. It's up to you. If you want to pinch each and every one into a bow, it looks pretty. But once you've done that, you have to take each of your crostoli and lay it on a floured tea towel just until you're ready to start frying them. Now, I've made a lot, as you can see here, but this is only a fraction of that dough. So I'm going to go ahead and make heaps more, because I'm going to take these crostoli to my work friends, and this batch is not going to cut it. Okay, so now it's time to fry. And I have a saucepan here with some vegetable oil, and I'm looking at my thermometer and we're nearly reaching 180 degrees Celsius. That's where you want to be for deep frying these little biscuits. Okay, so the oil is hot enough and now we're ready to deep fry. So the trick is we want to get them a nice light golden color. So pop them in and keep turning them. They won't be in for long. So even though this batch makes a lot of biscuits, it's very easy to fry them because they don't fry for very long. So as you can see, that one batch of dough made quite a lot of crostoli, which is a good thing because trust me, I could eat all this just on my own. They are super light. So before you know it, you've eaten about 10 really, really easily. So now what you need to do is you need to top your crostoli with a little bit of icing sugar. And now they are ready to serve. Crispy, crunchy, sweet, with that little hint of citrus in the dough as well. These are fantastic. I'll tell you a little story about crostoli. In the area of Italy where my nonna comes from, crostoli is actually called bugie, and bugie translates to the word lies. And the reason why they call these biscuits lies is because whenever someone ate the last crostoli and they said, now was it you? You couldn't lie because you'd have icing sugar all over your face, so you could never tell a lie, and everyone knew if you were the one who had the last crostoli. It's also called lies because the biscuit itself is quite deceptive. You think it's a biscuit and then you go to eat it and it just melts away in your mouth because it's so light. So now it's your turn. Why don't you have a go at making a beautiful big batch of crostoli for all your friends and family. If you want to have a go, don't forget to check out the description box below. Go to my website and there you'll find the recipe. There you'll find the recipe to all my videos that I create. So don't forget to like them, share them, or better still, subscribe so you always know what I'm up to in the kitchen. I'll see you next time.